Hello, welcome to Remy Does It. Today in this video, we will be going over the 5 key differences between an LLC and a sole proprietorship. So stay tuned for an entire video so you can catch all 5. Hey, before we get too deep into this video, I kind of just wanted to stop for a moment and give my thanks, a quick shout out for the help I've been receiving. As you know, I have no real experience doing video editing, video making, or anything of this nature. This is my 3rd video on the platform, so it's all very new to me. So I am very fortunate in being able to quickly find my unpaid intern, and he's been helping me out amazingly. He's been working around the clock to make sure all these videos can get released to you guys in a timely manner and edited properly. So I want to give a very quick shout out to him. Thank you for your help. Now we'll go back to the video. Now welcome back. Let's jump into the video. An LLC stands for a limited liability company, and essentially it allows you to enjoy the benefits of either a sole proprietorship or a corporation depending on your personal needs or the needs of the business. It's a very useful tool to use, and we're going to go a little bit deeper into the actual aspects that make it so useful. So number 1, the very first key difference is that in a sole proprietorship, the owner is personally liable for all debts and liabilities that may come upon the business. So that means that, let's say you have a store. If you have a store and someone comes and slips on a banana peel, well, if they want to sue the business, they're actually suing you. You are personally liable for all debts and all liabilities of that business. There's no actual separation. They can come after your personal assets. In an LLC, however, the owners, also known as members, are not typically held liable if the business is sued or cannot pay its debts. So there's a very big distinction between the two. One, you have protection, and one, you do not have protection. If you have a sole proprietorship, if anything happens in the business that you're running and you get sued for anything, or you have debts, you can be held personally liable and have to pay that through your own expense. Whether that means you have to sell your house or whatever it is, you will be held personally liable. Now we are on number 2, taxation. Both LLCs and sole proprietorships can both participate in what is called pass-through taxation. Essentially what that means is that the business's profits will be reflected on the owner's personal income tax return. Doing this will avoid double taxation that often happens through corporations. An LLC can elect to be taxed as a corporation rather than a sole proprietorship. So that means that you can have the flexibility to enjoy a corporation's tax benefits versus a sole proprietor's. It depends on many factors why you might choose to elect to be taxed as a corporation versus a sole proprietorship. It really depends on the business. It depends on how many profits you're making, what you're paying yourself. But there's a lot to consider if you're going to decide to be taxed as a corporation. There's a lot that goes into that and wouldn't necessarily be for this video, but things to keep in mind is if you want to be elected as a corporation, you need to start paying yourself a salary, a reasonable salary. The IRS will come after you if you can't just pay yourself distribution, which would be tax-free, and have a salary of $100. You can't do that. You have to pay yourself a reasonable salary. And what is reasonable according to the IRS? That's kind of great. Now we move on to number 3, and that is ownership and management. A sole proprietorship is owned and operated by one single owner. One single owner, that is all. An LLC, however, can have multiple members, and depending on your structure, it varies dramatically. For example, an S Corp can have only up to 100 shareholders, while a C Corp can have unlimited. And a C Corp could be a publicly traded company, while an S Corp cannot. There's a lot more on the topic of S Corp versus C Corp, but once again, to dive into that would be a very long video, and that's not this video. In this video, we're just going to discuss the 5 key differences between the sole proprietorship and the LLC. But do keep in mind, the way you operate your business can change dramatically. You want to make a very informed decision on your corporate structure because there's a lot of different rules that apply to the different structures. Now we're on number 4, and that is continuity of existence. What this means is the sole proprietorship will cease to exist if the owner passes away or decides to stop doing business. The LLC, however, can continue to exist far beyond the life of its members. So that is also something to keep in mind. You cannot carry on a business if you are not alive, if you have a sole proprietorship. An LLC is something that will continue to live past you. If your goal is to be able to have a business that you can pass on to your children and their children, you're definitely going to want to have an LLC. If you have a sole proprietorship and you pass away, there's nothing you can pass on to your children besides your own personal assets. Now we're at number 5, and number 5 is formalities. An LLC requires more formalities than a sole proprietorship. For example, an LLC must be registered in the state, while a sole proprietorship doesn't necessarily need to be. However, you still probably will need certain things such as a seller's permit, even as a sole proprietorship. Also, an LLC requires an operating agreement. And in some states, you might even need an admin report. It all depends on your location. Now that I covered all 5, there are still some things you do want to keep in mind. When I mentioned taxation earlier, I said how an LLC can elect to be taxed as a corporation, or it can be elected to be taxed as a sole proprietorship. Now, the thing to keep in mind, if you elect to be taxed as a sole proprietorship in your LLC, you still have the protections that the LLC grants you. In my personal opinion, I think that you should always go for an LLC. You don't have any real asset protection in a sole proprietorship, and the flexibility that the LLC offers you is just far more superior than what a sole proprietorship can offer. I personally would always go for an LLC, but that is my personal opinion. You should do your own research when you're opening your own business. But these are 5 things to keep in mind when you are doing that. So, like always, do your own research and further look into these things and find out what suits you best for what you are trying to work on. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you felt that you got something out of it, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you for your time, and thank you for watching this video until the end. I will see you on the next one. You take care. Bye.